What is wrong with my face? Wait a minute, that is not supposed to look like that. Hello everybody and welcome back to some more FTB Inferno. Today, we need to cure some sick people. Because apparently there has been a little bug that's been going around, and if I ask my doctor here, she needs honey. 16 bottles of honey. She also needed source berries, but I took care of that in between episodes when I first realized this was an issue. But this means that there are diseases in the game that are going to require items that I do not currently have. And if I don't currently have these items, then this is going to be a problem. So to get honey, we are going to need to make bees. And then after that, later in the video, I will be doing some more blood magic to hopefully get myself some living armor. But that won't come until after we secure our villagers because they all need to be safe from diseases. So to get bees, we need to use the summoning altar once again. And to use for bees, we need some more vile dust, which is usually the catalyst, some sugar, some warped fungus, and a poppy. The warped fungus and the sugar are both very easy. I already have sugar canes and warped funguses all around. But for poppies, this one's going to be a bit more interesting. I don't know where I put it, but I should be able to make it with my mutandis. Alrighty, I got my mutandis, so now I should be able to... The plant twist. Oh, wait, maybe I needed to let this thing grow first. Yeah, so let's go ahead, torque it, and then now it should be able to change it, and there we go. Now we got a new plant, then we can try changing it again. We got a sapling. I need poppy. Please give me poppy. Alrighty, I gathered up everything. The poppies actually were kind of a pain in the butt to really be able to get, but I found out that there was actually a better way that you can do it, which was to spirit fire burning blossoms, which I had some of those on my little setup thing over here, which I got from a capsule in the first episode. But the problem with that is I don't know how to get more of those flowers, so we're gonna have to figure that out sometime very, very soon. Either way, we can go ahead and just throw all this onto here, and then this should give us our bees. Only problem is, I don't know if these bees are gonna spawn, like, angry or something. So, this is gonna be a treat. This is gonna be a huge, huge treat. Please don't actually spawn in the walls. That one would be even worse.
You like jazz?
Oh my gosh. You know, from the beginning, I could have sworn I was thinking bee, but I didn't think it was gonna make the reference itself. Oh my gosh, but now that we've gotten these guys, we can go ahead and actually go back to the first quest line right here, and then we get ourselves a sturdy bee cage. Now, since we don't have any beehives to be able to farm these bees, we need to get honey in a bit of a more sinister way. So what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to build over top this. That way, anything we put in here cannot escape. We go ahead and put the bee down there, and then we block it off, and now it should be giving us honey. We already have one bottle.
You get the idea.
Yeah, so that should be more than enough. So now all that's really left is for us to just go ahead and get some bottles. Because I'm pretty sure that, like, yeah, once we smelt down the honey, we could just pour it into bottles, like, if we have them. Yeah, we can. Or, alternatively, I could just pour it out into direct blocks and then deposit it like that. That might be faster. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it like that instead. Alrighty, got myself the honey blocks, so now we just need to go ahead and then combine this with my honey bottles. And there we go, we got ourselves our 16 of them. So now we just need to turn this into the good old doctor, and if they're not awake, then we can just go ahead and just, like, throw it inside of here. So, let's go ahead and throw this in the inventory, and now we're done. Okay, cool. So, I would like to be able to get more bees, so that way we could actually kind of set up a whole more of a farm for them. But for right now, we can go back into doing the blood magic line. So this one right here, this is the slot for the living armor. This is going to be a very, very good armor source. But in order for us to get it, we're going to need at least a tier 3 magician's blood orb. And that... Oh boy, that's actually a lot more than I was expecting it to be. But we're also going to want our altar to be at tier 3, and I can figure that whole thing out later. But for right now, the tier 3 altar is going to be what we focus on. But there is also something else that I want to just get out of the way for right now, which is going to be this thing right here. One of the ingredients that we're going to need is going to take a bit to get, and it'd be best if we do that right now. and that ingredient is going to be this dubious dust. We need to get it from the enchanter by mixing gunpowder, vile dust, and redstone. But we need this to be at tier 2. This is only a tier 1. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to look in it, and that is actually not terrible. The only thing that would really be minorly annoying is the basalt, since that one does take a bit. But yeah, we could go ahead and just like request that one to be built. So there we go. We can get that out of the way for right now. So for the tier 3 altar, we're currently at our tier 2, as we can see by using our divination sigil on it. There's a little 2 up there. So then for tier 3, we're going to need a lot more runes. We're going to need 20 more runes, it looks like. Okay, I've gathered up everything I need, and I figured out some problems that I had that I'll explain later. First and foremost, let's focus on the blood altar. So, you can see right here, I have a little outline. This is the outline for the tier 3 blood altar, and you can use this by getting the guidebook right here and then going into the tab. You go down into the blood altar tab, and then you go down to blood altar, and then you scroll over, and then you'll eventually see different tiers of it, and then you just click the eye for visualization. So now what we got to do is we just got to lay out this whole thing. There's a little progress meter right up there, which should make this all go away once I fill it up. So now we just need to just continue to slowly but surely build it out right there. There we go. And then we'll want to put these temporary blocks in the corners, or maybe there won't be temporary. We'll see how it looks in the end. I do kind of want this to look a little bit decently. And then we build up like this, and then on each of the corners, we will put it like this, where it'll have these stone pillars and then a shroom light on top. This one should be the last one right there, and there we go. Now we've got all those ones. Now then, we need to have this little space down here be vacant, and then you go up one, which is why I'm going to be building these things right here, because this won't really interfere with it. So then we can go ahead and just rebuild our original tier 1 altar, putting our runes of self-sacrifice right onto these points. Then we can also go ahead and put our speed runes right there, and then our last 2 runes right here. There we go. And then we can go ahead, break our bone block, and then put down the blood altar. And there we go. Tier 3 is now complete. Just to be sure, we need to check with the divination sigil, and bam. So there we go. Now we've gotten ourselves this, but we need to actually make the tier 3 rune. To do this, what we're going to need is we're going to need a lot of blood and some obsidian. Fortunately, I accidentally made a bit too much obsidian earlier because I miscounted on how much I was going to need, because you do need that to make the runes. But here we go. Now we can go ahead, just turn this into obsidian after years upon years. It never ends. It seriously takes forever, but forever is now. Then we could go ahead and just plop this into there. But what we need to do is we need to check how much does tier 3 take. Okay, tier 3 takes 5,000, then the tier 2 takes 2,000, and the tier 1 takes 1,000. So I'm gonna need 8,000 buckets of blood in there. Oh well, guess you know what it's time for. No fire to give me regeneration. So now that we've gotten our tier 3, we could make our tier 3 magician's blood orb. But we wouldn't really get the achievement for that unless we already made the tier 2 apprentice blood orb. To make this one, it is going to be a process. So what we need is we need this empowered inverted potentia, which means we need this normal inverted potentia, which comes from the environmental accumulator, which is that big beacon that we have at the very start. And to get the inverted one, we need 4 dark gems mixed with a potentia sphere, which we can make with 2 redstone, 4 glowstone, coagulated blood or slime of some kind, and some lapis. Oh boy, that is going to be a lot. And the best part is that in order for me to get the achievements for any of those, at this very start, we need to get ourselves a weather container. The weather container is going to be very, very interesting in the fact that we need quite a bit of stuff for it, and I don't fully understand it. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to mix sugar and a dark gem with some glass bottles right there, and that gets us our weather container. And that in itself actually gave us the achievement. That is very interesting. But I also know that we need to mix it with 8 ender pearls to get a lightning grenade. I'm gonna have to go down and hunt some endermen. Okay, well, not actually necessarily, because I can get this from lava fishing. So I would just need to lava fish a whole bunch. But it is possible to get it outside of hunting down endermen. It's just gonna take me forever. Okay, so I guess I gotta go hunt down some endermen or do lava fishing. Give me like 10 years. In the not too distant future. Hey everybody, it's Future Cookie here, and since I'm here, you know what that means? I messed up. So apparently the recording where I was making the lightning grenade ended up not being there at all. I don't know what happened, but just that portion of the video was gone. So we're just gonna go over the creation of that real quick, and I'm in a creative world because I've advanced so far ahead that there would be too much spoilers. So what you needed was, we needed this weather container, which we were able to create earlier by mixing the dark gem and the sugar. What you need to do then is throw that inside of the environment accumulator at the top of this whole area right in here. We just throw that into there, and then that will then absorb the weather that is currently going on, because no weather is weather. And then we got ourselves the weather container, my only sunshine. Yeah, it's pretty simplistic. After that, what we then needed to do was we needed to mix that with 2 water buckets to then be able to make ourselves the rain one. Then we mix that with 2 glowstone to make ourselves the lightning one. After that, we just throw that and then surround that with ender pearls, and then we got ourselves our lightning grenades. It was all very simple, and honestly, I overcomplicated the original time, so you know what, maybe this was a blessing in disguise. By the way, though, back to the present day. So now all we gotta do is just make this potentious sphere right here, and then we should just need to combine that with some dark gems, and there we go. Now, this part's gonna be the tricky part, because from what it's looking like, what I'm gonna need to do to turn this thing over to the other one, I'm gonna need to throw this in and throw a lightning grenade at it. What I don't know is if I'm able to throw this in first, or if I actually have to throw in the grenade. Okay, it looks like there's only one recipe, so if I just throw that in and throw the lightning grenade... Did I miss it? Wait, no, I didn't miss it! Yes, it's empowered! There we go. Okay, now we have ourselves the empowered inverted whatever you call it. Which means now we can go ahead and then turn this one into our tier 2 blood orb. And it should be almost done. There we go. The apprentice blood orb. Now we can go ahead and link this to us. There we go. That's no huge problem. So then now what we need is we're going to need to get ourselves to the magician's blood orb. To do this one, this is going to be tricky. We need to have 20,000 life points inside of there. Life points can be pretty tricky to get, especially considering that this one at its current rate only holds 10,000. So if I want to increase how much this is going to hold, I'm going to need another kind of rune. It's called the Rune of Capacity. It takes 4 of any kind of stone, a blank rune, 3 buckets, and then an imbued slate, and then we get ourselves the Rune of Capacity. I don't know how much this is going to increase it by, though, which is the biggest problem. So I need to get enough until we can actually reach 20,000. Alternatively, I could just sit here and keep pricking my finger and hope for the best, which is not the ideal option. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and get myself enough the capacity so that way we can cover this, and then we can move on to what this thing does.
Eventually.
It took me getting 5 of the runes of capacity, but we're finally able to hold 20,000 millibuckets of life essence. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. So then, in order for us to be able to get the blood orb, we're going to need a will-infused source gem. To get this, we need to dump demon will on top of a source gem block. Now, normally what you need to do with source gems is you'd need to get into a bunch of Ars Nouveau, and you'd need a bunch of all these archwood and stuff like that for specific woods. But fortunately, at some point, probably while I was out looting, I got myself some source gems. And this was exactly enough for a source gem block. The odds of me having exactly enough for what I needed today I don't care what anybody says. This is truly, truly the work of God. Which is ironic considering I am in hell. But in order for us to get Demon Will, we need to get, well, Demon Will. To get this, we're going to need to grab ourselves some string. And then we're going to need to put this inside of the blood altar. That should absorb 500 millibuckets of it. And then that will get us a soul snare. Just in case, I will collect the reward to get myself some more soul snares. And now, what we need to do is we need to go find any mob and do something very special with this. Let's go ahead and prick my finger a couple more times to get this back into 20,000. There we go. Down here in the underground once more. Ooh, danger is truly everywhere. A heckhound. Oh, that would be perfect, because I know those things just love to munch on my face. Okay, then. So what I need to do is I need to throw the soul snare right at him until he starts making particles. He's making the particles. Okay, now I need to kill him. Okay, there we go. And yes, we got some Demon Will. Okay, run away from the spider. I need to make sure that I have enough Demon Will. I don't know if the amount that's actually in it affects it at all. We have a 2. Okay, so even if it does, that's more than enough. And I am dead. Alrighty, so now all we need to do is we just need to throw the Demon Will into our smeltery. And now it will melt down all the will, giving us some beautiful, beautiful molten will. And I did check just to make sure that... Oh, I'm going to finish my sentence. I did check to make sure that it can't fuse with anything else in here. But I also just noticed, it turns out the amount of will, the will quality down there that's actually in the Demon Will, does affect this. That's actually very interesting. I'll probably go more in-depth on what Demon Will does another time, if we ever actually need to go more in-depth on it. But now all we need to do is just dump 100 millibuckets of it right onto there. It really would have just needed a will quality of 1. Anything more than that, and it's kind of a waste, actually. But there we go. Now we've got ourselves our will-infused source gem. We're almost done, baby. Oh my gosh. Now all that's left for us to do is throw this bad boy into here. And now we're going to get ourselves our Magician's Blood Orb. And then once we'll have that, we'll then be able to make this binding reagent, which is the prime ingredient in making our living armor. And it's gonna be beautiful. But we need this thing to first get itself into its blood orby goodness. Oh yeah, and I also still need to finish up the Mage's Tower, but I actually want to talk about that a little bit. But here we go. Once we get this thing right here, we now have ourselves the blood orb. Oh my goodness, yes. It's so beautiful. I don't know why I keep looking down here. It makes people peek up my skirt. I don't like that, but let's go ahead and just get that right there, and there we go. Now it's linked to us. Now, the binding reagent is a simple recipe in itself, but one thing that is a bit of a problem is this dubious dust. To get it, we need our enchanter to be at least at a level 2. I talked about this earlier. But what I did not find out was that these things were not actually being built, and I actually figured out what the problem was. The problem was that in order for you to get higher tier buildings, you first need to upgrade the builder's huts. So this right here is our tier 2 builder's hut, which I upgraded while we were off screen. So now he should be able to work with that once he wakes up, and then we'll be able to get ourselves this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and gather up everything else that we're going to need, as well as the stuff that we're going to need to make this, and then we can get ourselves a dubious dust, and then we can get ourselves our armor.
Much later.
Okay, so I ran into a little bit of a problem, but I was able to figure out the solution. So one of the things that I was going to need to be able to level up the enchanter was some spruce wood. Now, spruce wood was actually pretty easy to get. I just needed to get a sifter. I couldn't use the mutantis because apparently it was the wrong kind. But you know what, whatever. So I just needed to make a sifter. Here it is right here. It's all very nice. I did have to hire somebody else for a log of lapis, so you better have been worth it. But now we have ourselves our tier 2 enchanting tower. Yes, apparently this is a tower. I don't know how, but it is. So now what we need to do is we need to figure out how to get you to make the dubious dust. I'm just going to need to probably add this to the minimum stock because I did have to do this the last time. So we'll select that, and it's gonna be at stacks no matter what. So we'll put that there, and then I guess we can give these to you, and hopefully you'll make them. Hopefully. It might be possible that I'm gonna need to give you the book, though. Okay, there we go. So we did actually need to give her a book so that way she can do her whole thing. So then let's just make sure that we've got enough blood inside of our blood orb. It probably would have been easier if I just pricked my finger with the blood orb instead, but I don't know if it, like, makes more or less. I mean, well, you know, these guys have the runes of self-sacrifice, so, you know, at the end of the day, it would probably just be more like this anyways. So now then, all we gotta do is just throw in the gold, and then I forgot the rest of the recipe. Yes, the glowstone, and the dubious dust, and a weak blood orb? What's that doing in there? We don't want that. We want ourselves the magician's blood orb, the most pristine of all the blood orbs. Oh my goodness, yes, and as it fills up, it grows and gains power. And then we get ourselves the binding reagent, baby. Even though it doesn't actually give us the achievement for it. Is there an achievement for it? There is not an achievement for it. That is unfortunate. What's more unfortunate, though, is the fact that you don't actually use these things in the normal way this time anymore. Because what you would normally do for this is that you would use these in a ritual with some armor. I think it was iron. And then you would actually get it in. Oh, I'm missing just a little bit of blood. Shameful, 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 shameful. Let's just go ahead and put the rest of my life into there. Hopefully that should be enough. Yep, that's enough. But we don't get to do the whole ritual thing this time, you know? And I'm kind of sad about that. But it's fine. So now we get ourselves our fourth one. There we go. And hopefully the damage will not matter on these. I know it shouldn't have a durability to it. It does have durability. Okay, but it is much stronger, so you know what? At the end of the day, hopefully it should be able to get repaired. I think there is one of the things that you can do with this where it starts to repair itself, but I don't know. What is wrong with my face? Wait a minute. Something already isn't right here. Okay, I thought it looked weird before. It's like, that is not supposed to look like that. Is it because of my model? Is it because I look different? Is that why there's a giant McDonald's? Okay, I guess we're living armor brought to you by McDonald's. Fortune Cookie is not sponsored by McDonald's in any way. Well, I mean, this is good. We've actually gotten ourselves an efficient pair of armor that will not break very easily, and it's actually also very special because what the living armor does is it adapts to the way I live. So the more I run, it will eventually give me a point on my chest plate to give me speed. If I jump a lot, it will start to give me jump boost. And all of these are permanent, by the way. And the best part is, the more damage I take, I think it's either the more damage or the more I regenerate, I gain more hearts. And that is one of the biggest and best things about this. And I think you could actually also give these things more armor toughness somehow, but I don't really remember how to do that explicitly. But hey, we finally did it, and it led to a really interesting surprise. Did you like this video? Good. Then be sure to check out our last FTB Inferno video where we did some more mine colonies, and we also started off our blood magic journey. Bye-bye!